Hello friends, welcome to a new watercolor tutorial. I am VanidasMangathil. In today's tutorial, we are going to make this simplified suggestive streetscapes. I will be explaining the complete process throughout this video, and if you are new to my channel and not yet subscribed, please do subscribe and press the bell notification. I will be releasing more and more tutorial videos with full explanation every week. Without further ado, let us begin the tutorial. I am using a cold pressed watercolor paper 300 GSM and I am making a very loose drawing. Okay, I am just placing the kind of separation between ground and then ground and the sky sort of thing, and on the right we are creating a loose drawing for a building. Okay, so as I told, it is the details are not given importance, it is the overall shape. For the building I have made very simple box sort of a thing, and here there is a sort of a tree. Okay, so this is a scene which is near to where I stay, so I have these ideas in my mind. So I also have some photos, but I'm just creating a representation of it now. Okay, right, so maybe some kind of a scooter here, maybe a couple of vehicles parked. Always you will find a lot of two-wheelers parked particularly in India, where we have a lot of two-wheelers. So we have some two-wheelers, scooters parked around the building, and maybe a couple of people around this area. I will be adding some people here. Okay, some figures doing something. Okay, see, the exact interpretation is left to the viewers. We can just suggest the elements required for that. Okay, I think that's it. I have slightly fast forwarded the video. I have made it 2x time. Okay, twice as fast as the actual recording, because in the actual recording it is a little bit slower. But without any compromise, without missing anything, I have recorded. I mean, enhanced the speed a little bit. Right, now here there was a kind of a small truck, lorry kind of thing. Okay, so here whenever you make vehicles, okay, you had to pay attention to the overall geometric form and the kind of perspective. Perspective is the key. Whatever you draw, I feel that perspective is the key. So you have to pay attention to the overall perspective. When it comes to the wash, I am using a grayish blue and little bit of purple kind of a sky. It is not very clean sky. It is little bit of a warm and cool mix. I mean, basically a grayish sky with blues and some warm color like burnt umber and little bit of crimson. Okay, so all these colors are mixed for the sky. Okay, now let us make the road. The road again is very close to the color of the sky, but it is slightly more bluish. Okay, I am using a mop brush for this, and I am also allowing some color merges to happen. So on the paper I am allowing some colors to mix together, some colors to bleed one into another and create some interest. Okay, so let us now create the sort of the building color. Again, the color is little muted. I realize that. See, the color choice depends upon the mood. I mean, to me at least, depending upon my mood, I usually change the colors. Okay, so please choose the colors that you like. It doesn't have to follow precisely what is there in the reference. Okay, again, this part is twice as fast as the actual recording. 2x time I have fast forwarded it because I can convey a lot of things in a given time. If you want to see it slower, maybe you can adjust the playback speed and then you can see it in the proper speed. Okay, I don't usually do this at fast forwarded speed, but I thought this is simple enough. The brushworks particularly are simple enough so that you can grasp it quickly. So this is a suggestion of a building, very simple suggestion of a building on the left side and on the right side. Okay, some touches of white to kind of merge the things together, some tiny bit of architectural details, and some of the boards and other things in bright colors. So I prefer to do a lot of muted colors and some accents of bright colors in between, so that we have a contrast. We have a contrast in terms of colors also. See, whenever we speak of contrast, there are many ways contrast can happen. Contrast can happen in terms of tonal values. Contrast can happen in terms of the sharpness and softness of the edges. Contrast can happen in terms of colors. Contrast can happen in terms of the shapes, anything. Okay. Right. So we are suggesting the truck now. Again, you can take a reference if you want to paint from memory, or if you want to paint from imagination, or if you want to paint from reference photograph itself. You can always take a reference for any element that you are creating. Sometimes we add additional elements to an existing photograph reference. So in that case, you can refer to the object, take reference from other resources. Okay, so suppose you want to add a tram into a scene and you are not very clear of how to draw and paint a tram. Of course, you can take a reference from available resources and add the tram to your scene. Okay, so some foliages. There was, a big tree. We have drawn a big tree, and I'm suggesting very loose foliages. So I'm using a Chinese calligraphy brush here, and most of the time for the big shapes I'm using the side of the brush, and for the random shapes also I'm using the side of the brush. I rarely use the tip of the brush for the tree foliages. I use the tip of the brush to get some edge leaves, suggestion for edge leaves like this. Okay, otherwise I use the side of the brush, the belly of the brush. Okay, this looks little sharp, little too dark for me, but I think once it dries, it should be okay. You know that watercolor dries lighter. Okay. Some sort of the trunk and the branches, and I know that there are a lot of contrast at the base of the tree, and I am expecting to do a lot of darks in the surrounding of the tree, so that it will not be as sharply contrasting as it is now. Okay, so I am adding the darks now around the building and the awnings or whatever it is. Okay. Right. So a little bit of darkness around that area. Okay. It is mostly it is Payne's grey mixed with some other colors. Okay. For the darks, the primary color that I am taking is Payne's grey or Payne's grey, and I am adding some adjacent colors, some other colors to get the kind of color that I want, the tone that I want. Okay. There is a kind of a compound wall. In front of the compound wall, the cars and the truck are parked, and near to the tree, some of the two-wheelers are parked. That is the kind of scene. Okay. I hope this this speed is okay. So if you think this is faster and you are not able to follow it properly, please do let me know. I will avoid this fast forwarding altogether. Okay. So in most of my videos I don't do any fast forwarding, but here I thought it was going too slow, right? Now for the cars, let us make some dots. See, I haven't made these things. I'm not making these things very bright because they are either in the shadows or they are kind of a little bit far away. I want a little bit of color sharpness only in the foreground. Okay, so that is why I'm all this far away element, like the truck and the car, I'm making very light colors. Okay, little bit of muted colors. The figures in the foreground. And if you are finding value in my tutorial, please do subscribe and press the bell notification. As I said earlier, I'll be releasing more and more videos every week with full explanation. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please do write them into the comment box below. I will come back and respond. Okay. So this is a kind of a scooty parked, and there may be a couple of vehicles around this area. Sorry for that sound. It is a suggestion of couple of two-wheelers, scooty, bikes parked further away. And we are pretty much done when it comes to the faraway elements. Okay, so we probably can add some additional details. These are some touches of a little bit of opaque color so that it creates more interest, right? Some dark red touches for the tail lamps. Okay, these accents, red accents, or opaque touches are just to create some illusions. Okay, so exposed part of the body, for the figures. Okay, and I think these touches are creating interest. So please feel free to add these kind of accents, even in your muted watercolors. These kind of bright colors, occasional bright colors, actually gives a lot of contrast and interest. Okay, couple of more figures. I think this figure went a little bit taller, but that's okay. There could be some tall figure. That is quite possible. Right, some shadows of the tree, and I'm using grayish purple kind of a color here for the shadows of the tree. Okay, now by making all these dark touches, the area surrounding the tree is not as bright as it was at the beginning. Okay, now actually the foreground shadows are from some other buildings which is outside of the frame. Okay, some white highlights, okay, some white accents to get some interest. Okay, some touches here and there. Okay, so I think we are pretty much done with the overall scene. These directional lines will help getting some depth to the overall scene, and the highlight for the figures are to bring them into life. Okay, so that they are more noticeable. So these are opaque touches using pure watercolor white pigment, and if you don't like these opaque touches, you can of course avoid it. Okay, and now there are some electrical poles and cables, wires, etc., and creating a little bit more interest. Okay, so these you can practice standalone. These kind of vertical lines and cables, etc., you can practice standalone, and then you can add them into your watercolors. Right, I think that is sufficient. Some cables coming from the from the height. Okay, and maybe some cables can go towards the building also. Okay, like this, some cables, and I think we are pretty much done with all these cables. Some very minimal details onto the building, and we can treat it as done. Okay, so I think this video was informative to you, and you could learn something from it. So if you want to watch slower, please control your playback speed, and you can watch slower and you can understand the things. If you have any questions, please do write them into the comment box below, and please give your feedback if you have any, and I'll be more than happy to get back with my response to your questions and feedback. So thank you very much for staying with me, and we will hope to see you soon with another interesting watercolor tutorial. So thanks again. Happy painting.